there's something you want to talk about and say. How do you make that not too preachy or not too much about that?
I think it's very important to, if you know something you want to say, or you want something you want to explore, or you have a conclusion you want to get to, you better make that really hard to get to that conclusion for that character. You better have that character be really flawed. You better put a lot of obstacles, both personal and emotional, physical, between that person and that person reaching that realization, or reaching the opposite realization. I mean, I really like writing from the point of view of villains, or people who I completely disagree with. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones in The Valley of Ella is a man whose point of view in America could not be more different than mine. He really believed in this country, believed in the righteousness of our leaders, and in the necessity for war, and the fact that it really makes a man and gives him character. That's what he believes. And so his journey is to the other side, but its journey is by fighting his own demons and believing that things that, okay, maybe the government wasn't right, and maybe I can believe this, but the one thing we've always known about soldiers is that you do not fight for the cause. You do not go over the hill to, into that hail of gunfire in order to, under some lofty idea, freedom, democracy. You don't do that. You fight for the man beside you. That's what you fight for, and you try to get him through, him or her, and so that's sacrosanct. That will never ever change, except when it does, and when it does. When you're in a war like Iraq, when you have a situation where the purpose has become so corrupt, you go there thinking that you are David fighting Goliath, and then you realize you're Goliath. At that point, everything, the whole fabric breaks down, and you can end up killing your best friend, and you can end up thinking they deserved it, and you can end up taking their credit card, buying everybody chicken, having a meal and going back after you just chopped them up in pieces. And that's what happened. And so in order to get to that, this man had to not just think, okay, it was to get to something that was so personal to him, and his belief that was so personal. So that my belief about what I wanted to say about the war, and that one was, well, I sat down, okay, because of the way we think, and we judge people, I can't get Americans 3 years into this very popular war, 2 years into it, whenever I started, I can't get them to sympathize for the Iraqis. I can't. We don't even count those dead. Literally don't even count them. We count our soldiers. We have no idea how many we've killed over there. We have no idea if they're children, if they're women. We don't really care. I mean, we care as good people, but we don't.
Yeah, I've heard it's like 1 million or something.
Yeah, we don't care. And so we don't care enough to actually force them to account for the behavior. So I can't tap on that. So what can I do? So maybe I can get them to care about their own sons and daughters, and how this is affecting them, how this particular war, which has become, which has lost, I mean, all war, some way or other, is there's a justification for it, and that justification is usually bullshit. World War II, the Great War, all these things, the good wars, they're not really good. They're often for corporate interests or whatever, for the wrong reasons, therefore they just are. But sometimes you can hang on to a greater cause in order to get yourself through. Now it's all gone. And for this, there was nothing there. And these men could see that. And these were men who they signed up after 9/11, a lot of these guys. They went off, they wanted to be heroes. And that was their motivation. So I didn't want to point the finger like other filmmakers are saying, oh, these guys are villains. No, these are heroes. But that's the problem. You're sending heroes into a place, or people who want to be heroes in a place where there's just nothing they can do that's heroic. And the fact that they are making decisions because they're being forced to make decisions that will haunt them forever. And I remember doing some research and finding this guy, I met this guy, sweet man, who said, okay, here, Paul, there's a thing. If you're driving in convoy and someone or something gets between you and the vehicle in front of you, you're ordered not to stop. You cannot stop. It doesn't matter who it is or what it is, if it's a dog, it doesn't really matter. You have to keep going. Because if you stop, as he said, shitheads might pop up with RPGs and kill you all dead. And now, a hero will always sacrifice himself. Always. There's a choice between sacrificing himself and some woman, whatever, he'll take the bullet. But that's not what you're being asked. Yes, you'll die if the shitheads pop up with RPGs, but so will your buddy beside you. So will the 6 guys in the back of the Humvee. So will all the other Humvees that are parked behind you because they can't get by on the road. They're all gone. Right? So, here's your choice. You're 17 years old. You just signed up. A kid runs out in front of you, between you and the next one to get his ball. You have to decide whether to stop or keep going. And you're 17 years old and you have 3 seconds. 2, 1, now. So I asked myself, okay, I'm in that car. I'm driving that. Forget I'm 17 years old. Right now, what would I do? I didn't have an answer. So the very nature of the war and the rules of our deployment make it so that heroes are guaranteed to walk away thinking they're villains. So what does that do to somebody? So that's, you go in there and you find those personal questions and you damn yourself for it. You don't point the finger at the villains. You damn yourself for it. And you find those questions that you cannot answer. And then you can maybe get to your point about, is war corrupt or is whatever, and it's too easy to say, yes, we have bad soldiers and we do these things. No, why? So that's what I try to do. I try to find the specific question that I think of myself as a good person can't answer. And then I'll explore the issue through that.